Hi, everybody. Welcome to English Digest. I'm Tom.
Hi, I'm Stephanie.
We're traveling today, and remember last time we talked about southeast France, otherwise known as Provence or Provence-Alpes-Côte d'Azur. And that, of course, is a great place. Lots of people want to go there. And if you're going to France, I guess there are only really two choices. You can either go to Paris or you can go to Provence. Of course, you can go any place you want to, but my point is that those are probably the two most popular tourist destinations in France.
Yeah, I agree. If you get out of Paris, though, there are a lot of beautiful places to see, a lot of castles, which I really love. They call them chateaus. They don't put the S on, but chateau means castle. And it's gorgeous. But if you want a little bit warmer climate and you want to be by the sea, you want to head down to the southeastern region, which we've been talking about. We've discovered that it's also a popular place for the British to go on vacation. They started going there way back in the 1820s. So today we're going to continue talking about this area. We're going to find ourselves in a different city called Avignon, and it's got a lot of medieval Gothic buildings, which are really popular in Europe. There are a lot of churches that are Gothic design. We're talking about the architecture. And we're also going to mention some Taiwanese touring groups, some performers who have been there on tour, which is really exciting. But first, guys, we're going to read through today's lesson.
Toward the west of Provence-Alpes-Côte d'Azur, you'll find Avignon, a city that is home to one of the largest and most important medieval Gothic buildings in Europe. This ancient castle is called Palais des Papes, or Palace of the Popes, and was the seat of Western Christianity during the 14th century. Named as a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 1995, the mighty structure is a major tourist attraction today. Visitors to the palace can explore more than 20 of its rooms, view lively scenes of historic events on its walls, and gaze in wonder at its high vaulted ceilings, decorated with elaborate paintings. The city also celebrates modern culture with the Avignon Festival, one of the most important contemporary performing arts events in the world. The annual arts festival is held every July in the courtyard of the Palais des Papes, in addition to other locations in the city. For the occasion, more than 40 different festival performances are put on over the course of 3 weeks. Every evening, at least one new show is performed for the first time, making Avignon a place of creativity for both the artists and the audience. Another arts event that Avignon hosts is the festival Off. The unofficial event features more than 1,400 shows put on by performers from over 25 different countries. Last year, 4 Taiwanese groups performed there, including Flying Group Theater, Theater des Enfants Terribles, MOVE Theater, and B Dance. The groups used everything from puppets, miming, and clown acts to installation art and dance in order to make their creative productions memorable. This July will mark Taiwan's 11th consecutive year participating. Whether you're interested in the region's magnificent scenery and cities, interesting monuments, or arts festivals, Provence-Alpes-Côte d'Azur has something to delight you.
So here we are, we're back in the charming Provence-Alpes-Côte d'Azur, and we're also going to be exploring a city called Avignon. It's a city that is home to one of the largest and most important medieval Gothic buildings in Europe. And it's an ancient castle called Palais des Papes, or the Palace of the Popes. Now, if you don't know, and you might not, the largest religion in France is the Catholic Church. Very, very popular. They may not go to church every week because they're not very religious in France, but the Catholic Church is probably the primary religion or the church that people belong to. So we've got Avignon. When you're talking about medieval, you're talking about times that were long ago relating to the Middle Ages. So I would say before the 1400s, it was tough to live back then. Let's just be honest. They didn't have a lot going for them. And even the people that were wealthy, they didn't have any modern conveniences and it was tough. Gothic is a style. If you go over to France in particular and check out a lot of their cathedrals, the Catholic Church buildings, or even some of the buildings there, you'll see a lot of Gothic design. And it is actually related to the German style, which is kind of funny, but you see a lot of it in France.
Yeah, and Gothic is really hard to define in words. I suggest you take out your smartphone, go to Google, just write the word Gothic in there, and it will show you lots of pictures, and you'll get the idea.
Can I mention, too, that a very popular style among young people especially is this goth style where they kind of look like everything's black. They wear chains around their necks, kind of look like vampires to me.
And they listen to heavy metal music and stuff like that.
Yeah, but the Gothic style of architecture was very popular in Western Europe. And we're talking about Western Europe right now in the 12th to 16th centuries.
Exactly. So again, we're talking about this particular Palais des Papes, and it is one of the greatest buildings there. It was the seat of Western Christianity during the Middle Ages in the 14th century, which would be the 1500s, and named as a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 1995, the mighty structure is a major tourist attraction today. Now, UNESCO, of course, is an organization. It's part of the United Nations, and they go around the world naming all these different important sites in the world. I think Italy has the most of them.
Oh, really?
But actually, Mexico has quite a few of them as well.
I believe it.
And I don't know if Taiwan has any, but I'm sure mainland China has quite a few. These are all sites in the world, ancient structures or modern buildings that are recognized as having historical and cultural significance. So this was named as a UNESCO World Heritage Site way back in 1995, and this is a mighty structure. Mighty usually means really, really strong, but in this case, it just means it's really big and impressive. When you see it, you go, wow. That is really a big, mighty, impressive building. So it's a big structure, it's a cathedral, it's a big church, and of course, as you might expect, it's a major tourist attraction. Lots of tourists want to go there, go inside, take a look around, take lots of pictures and stuff like that, and tell your friends about it when you get back home.
Oh, yeah. Well, one of the fun parts of going on vacations now is to post photos, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm a terrible photographer, so I've been using my friends' photos for most of my pictures. Now, visitors that go to the palace can explore more than 20 of its rooms, so you won't be able to see the whole thing. These palaces and castles are huge, so sometimes you can't go through the whole thing. But they do prepare these rooms for visitors, and you'll view lively scenes of historic events on its walls. Also, they've got a lot of paintings. And in Europe in particular, there are a lot of large rugs called tapestries that you'll see scenes from everyday life on. Those are beautiful. We don't walk on them. They put the rugs on the walls in Europe because they're beautiful and they're considered artwork. So you're going to gaze and wonder at its high vaulted ceilings decorated with elaborate paintings. Lots of paintings in all of these castles that you can go see. If you gaze, guys, it means you're looking very steadily at something, maybe in admiration, or maybe you're just thinking and you just happen to gaze forward, not blinking, just thinking in your brain. But it's a steady look that you'll have when you gaze upon someone.
And vaulted ceilings is a characteristic of Gothic architecture. So there's kind of arches or a series of arches on the roof. So these vaulted ceilings are a characteristic of Gothic architecture. And we've got these elaborate paintings. They're not just little sketches, little cartoon drawings, but they're actually quite elaborate with lots of details, lots of colors. They look really realistic.
Yeah.
So you'll probably spend a lot of time staring at those paintings. And yeah, use your eyes to look at those. Put your camera down just for a few minutes and check it out. Don't spend all your time looking at the screen of your smartphone.
Don't do it.
Use your naked eyes and your memories will thank you for it. But the city also celebrates modern culture, as it goes on in the next paragraph, with the Avignon Festival. Again, we're talking about the city of Avignon. And it's one of the most important contemporary performing arts events in the world.
Cool.
So, again, we talked about some of the structures there in Avignon, but also we've got these festivals going on. It's always a good thing to go someplace if they're having some kind of some kind of
Cultural
celebration.
festival? Yeah,
right?
that's the
So,
best.
like if you go to Thailand, you should go to the water throwing. Is that what it's called? The water festival?
I was there for the water festival. Yeah, prepare to get wet, but it's so hot in Thailand, it's okay. Well, this is another kind of festival. It celebrates modern culture at the Avignon Festival. So it's one of the most important contemporary performing arts events in the world. So if you really like contemporary dancing, maybe contemporary music, things like that, you'll want to rush to the Avignon Festival. We've got some groups from Taiwan that are performed there too, which is very cool. Now, if you're talking about contemporary guys, you're talking about in today's time. So modern time is contemporary. Instead of, if you want to do the opposite, it would be historical performing arts. But here we've got modern performing arts or contemporary. Contemporary is today. So it's kind of fun.
Modern art, basically, like here in Taipei, we've got the MOCA, M-O-C-A, the Museum of Contemporary Art, and they've got wonderful exhibitions going on there all the time. But again, we are in Avignon with the Avignon Festival, and it involves performing arts, which means these things are taking place on a stage, and it's one of the most important contemporary performing arts events in the world. So I guess you probably won't see a lot of paintings there or a lot of musical performances. This is all stuff that's going to be on stage. Maybe dramas or something, or a modern dance or something like that.
Gotta move, huh? Perform.
Yeah, you gotta be moving for performing art. But in any case, we'll continue to talk about this in just a couple of seconds. Oh, it's time to take a break and turn things over to our Chinese teacher.
Hello everyone, my name is Tina. 我们来看一下文章的第一句提到 Toward the west of province Alpes-Côte d'Azur, you'll find Avignon, a city that is home to one of the largest and most important medieval Gothic buildings in Europe.在这里提到呢，在这个南法这个大区的西方会找到亚维农这个城市。这个城市有什么特别的呢？一样我们逗号用名词来补充说明亚维农这个城市。That is home to， 在这里呢 be home to 就是代表这里呢拥有什么东西。还有一座呢规模跟重要性呢在欧洲是数一数二的中世纪哥德式的建筑。Medieval 在这里呢就是指中世纪的意思，我们常听到 medieval times 指的就是中世纪这个时期。里面有一个叫做教皇宫，英文称之为 Palace of the Popes。 我们来看到在这一段的最后一句很长，他提到Visitors to the palace can explore more than 20 of its rooms, view lively scenes of historic events on its walls, and gaze in wonder at its high vaulted ceilings, decorated with elaborate paintings. 在这里提到，在这里可以看很多的东西。首先是 explore 这个动词片语，你可以呢去探索其中超过20间的房间。第二个动词 view 这个动词片语，你还可以去欣赏墙上生动的历史事件的景象。第三个动词是 gaze in wonder， 就是很惊奇的去凝望着什么东西呢？我们搭配介系词 at， 看着它挑高的拱形天花板，而上面则是装饰着有非常细腻的画作。在这里的 decorated 是 VPP 表被动，修饰前面的这个 ceilings 天花板是装饰着非常细腻的画作。接着在第二段的第一句提到 The city also celebrates modern culture with the Avignon Festival, one of the most important contemporary performing arts events in the world. 这座城市呢，它也以这个亚维农艺术节来颂扬现代的文化。我们首先来看到 contemporary， 也就是有当代的意思，而后面 temporary 则是指暂时的。而如果我们说 contemporary American novelist， 就代表他是一位当代的美国小说家。 而文章里面所提到的 performing arts 就是同学们所熟知的表演艺术。
We're going to take a quick break. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. And we're back. We're talking about France's charming Provence-Alpes-Côte d'Azur, which is a beautiful area in southeastern France. This is probably the next place that I want to go on vacation. We keep talking about it, and I get more and more excited about seeing this area. In today's program, we're talking about an area called Avignon. It's a city that's got a lot to see. It's got a Gothic building in Europe that's one of the most important in all of Europe. It's an ancient castle called Palais des Papes, or Palace of the Popes. And it was the center of Western Christianity during the 14th century. That's what seat means. It was located there. So it's kind of cool. It's been named as a UNESCO World Heritage Site, which always makes it sound really cool if you get to be a site. And you can go there and see 20 of its rooms, where you'll see lots of paintings, vaulted ceilings, those high ceilings, which I love vaulted ceilings, and probably some beautiful tapestries, which we don't mention here, but you'll see them on the walls there.
Indeed, and when we left off before we heard from our Chinese teacher, we were talking about the Avignon Festival. It's a very important contemporary performing arts event in the world, and the annual arts festival is held every July. Oh my goodness, it's July right now. So it's an annual festival. It takes place once every year. So it's held every July in the courtyard of the Palais des Papes, in addition to other locations in the city. So it's an annual arts festival. As I said, it takes place every year. Your company might have an annual meeting, for example, that you all have to go to. And here we've got, again, that big medieval castle or that big cathedral. And it's got this courtyard, which is kind of an open space inside of the structure, right? It's not in front, it's not behind, but it's inside, so it's the courtyard. Your apartment complex might have a courtyard in the middle of it, where it has like maybe a children's playground or a swimming pool or something like that.
Yeah.
But in this particular case, it's just an open area where all these performances take place.
Cool. And the weather's usually beautiful there, so it's a nice place to have a big festival every year. Now, for the occasion or for the festival that we're talking about, more than 40 different festival performances are put on over the course of 3 weeks. And I'm assuming that they use this courtyard as a stage for some of these performances. So over the course of 3 weeks, so this festival is 3 weeks long, and over the course means throughout those 3 weeks or during those 3 weeks. We use over the course to talk about time, but you'll see it in writing more than speaking, but it just means during those 3 weeks. So 40 different festival performances. Every evening, at least one new show is performed for the first time. Oh, that's cool. Making Avignon a place of creativity for both the artists and the audience. So if you're into performing arts, especially contemporary art, you'll definitely want to get a ticket to this place.
That's right. You can put on a really impressive show, or as a member of the audience, you can say, wow, that's interesting.
Enjoy.
I never saw anything like that before.
Yeah.
And another arts event that Avignon hosts is the Festival Off. That's an interesting name, but Avignon here, the city, hosts this event. We've got host here as a verb. That means you just act as the host. You're the person who receives your guests and entertains them and stuff like that. If you're the host of a party, you could say you're hosting a party, you're in charge of the party, you're inviting the guests and you make them feel happy. Well, this event is hosted by Avignon, which means basically this event takes place in Avignon.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting, huh? So it's an unofficial event, and it features more than 1,400 shows put on by performers from even more than 25 different countries. So it's pretty cool. Last year, we're talking about this unofficial festival off. We had 4 Taiwanese groups who actually traveled there and performed there. And we've got their names, including Flying Group Theater, Théâtre des Enfants Terribles, MOVE Theater, and B Dance. So kind of cool. It's interesting that one of these Taiwanese groups actually has a very French name. Théâtre des Enfants Terribles actually means theater of terrible kids,
wow.
which is kind of cute. And I'm sure that our listeners know of some of these groups, if not all of them.
Yeah, so you've probably heard of them or you've even seen them perform here in good old Taiwan. And they are quite diverse. The groups used everything from puppets, miming, and clown acts to installation art and dance in order to make their creative productions memorable. So yes, they make lots of preparations. They use puppetry, which is working with puppets.
Cool.
They use miming. We know what mimes are. They just kind of act out a story without saying things. They use gestures. They put their hands up on windows and pretend that they're opening a door and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And also we've got clown acts. They dress up like clowns, and they, are kind of funny. And they also use installation art, which means...
You like installation art.
Yeah, when they kind of put things there in a certain place. Basically, installation art means it's art that's put in a place other than a museum, usually out in public someplace. And they also use dance in order to make these productions memorable. A production, of course, is the whole thing from beginning to end, including the action and the drama and the music and the choreography and all that kind of stuff. And if something's memorable, that means it really impresses you and you're going to remember it for the rest of your life.
Yeah. There's a lot to choose from, a big variety of different performance arts there. So I thought installation art was also like the three-dimensional stuff that you see.
Yeah, sculptures, yeah.
Yeah, and things that move sometimes as well.
Kinetic art, yeah.
I know you like
sculptures.
that stuff, yeah. So it's memorable. You'll never forget it. When you go on vacation, if you get to go to a festival or see some sort of show, sometimes I try to go to either musical theater or even an opera while I'm on the road. It just, it gives you that much more to remember when you come back home. So this July will mark Taiwan's 11th consecutive year participating. So it was 11 years ago that Taiwan started sending over some performing groups to take part in Festival Off. So that's pretty cool. That's 11 straight years. If it says consecutive, it means every single year. They didn't skip any of the years in between. So that's really to be celebrated. Now, whether you're interested in the region's magnificent scenery and cities, interesting monuments, or art festivals, we're here to tell you that Provence-Alpes-Côte d'Azur has something to delight you, which is a great final sentence here. Let's look at some of these words.
Okay.
When you have magnificent anything, it's pretty spectacular. Yeah, in fact, when you see magnificent, think of kings and queens and royalty. Magnificent. So amazing. Don't use this unless you really think it's really great and awesome, because that's a pretty cool adjective there. Magnificent scenery and cities.
Exactly. We've also got interesting monuments there. I guess France is full of monuments.
Oh, yeah, lots of statues.
We've got arts festivals as well for performing arts and other kinds of art. And so Provence-Alpes-Côte d'Azur has something to delight you indeed. If something delights you, it makes you really delighted. It makes you very happy. And again, we mentioned the Avignon Arts Festival is taking place in July this year.
Yeah.
So you might have a chance to check it out. Another thing I did want to mention, that since people here in Taiwan just love their cycling, love their bicycling, the world-famous Tour de France goes on in July in France, and I believe a couple of stages are going through the Provence region at this time of year. So if you happen to be there, hey, head down to the roadside. You might see a bunch of lightning-fast bicyclists streaming by. It will be very, very exciting. There's lots of things to see and do in this part of the world. So, yeah, talk to your travel agent today.
Yeah, I wanted to mention this Festival Off, guys, is alternative music. So if you love music and you like to hear what new music is happening, this is a place to go. It's about time to wrap up. So we're going to give our Chinese teacher a few minutes and then we'll be back.
在这一段所提到的亚维农艺术节为期是3个星期，我们看到第2段后面的句子提到 For the occasion, more than 40 different festival performances are put on over the course of 3 weeks. 我们在这里使用的动词被动态be put on， 因为要搭配前面的主词 performance， to put on a performance 就是指有表演的演出，而在这里呢 for the over the course of 3 weeks， course 代表着是一个过程跟历程的意思，譬如说讲到整个历史的演进，我们就可以说 the course of history。而这里提到在这样的场合，在这样子的艺术节呢，会有超过40种不同的节庆的表演上演，而就在这3周的期间之内。除此之外呢，在下一段还提到了这个城市同时也有 The Festival of， 我们称之为外亚维农艺术节，台湾也会有非常多的团体来加入这个艺术节的演出。在这一段中间有提到 The groups used everything from puppets, miming, and clown acts to installation art and dance in order to make their creative productions memorable。参与的台湾团体呢，运用了很多的技术，像是 puppets 木偶、miming 默剧、小丑表演 clown acts， 一直到 installation art， 也就是装置艺术以及舞蹈，用了这些就是为了要让这所有有创意的作品是令人难忘的。 make 加上受词再加上形容词 memorable， 表示这样子的事情是值得怀念的，是难忘的。最后一句 Whether you are interested in the region's magnificent scenery and cities, interesting monuments or arts festivals, Provence Alpes Côte d'Azur has something to delight you. 不管你感兴趣的是景色、城市、古迹或艺术节，这个地方一定拥有着某样东西可以让你感到高兴并且满足。在这里的 delight 有使高兴的意思。 OK， 以上就是今天的课文讲解，谢谢收听。
That's it for today, everybody. Thank you for joining us and enjoy your trip to Provence if you choose to go. From all of us here at English Digest, I'm Tom.
I'm Stephanie.
Goodbye.
See ya.